Alright guys, wow, it's definitely been a while. Holy shit. Well, let's just get to it. So today actually, being the Yugi boomer that I am, I actually pre-ordered this like I think like a year ago. And I think I have multiple Blue Eyes White Dragon boxes that will be coming in. So I'll be opening that Metal Raider. It's kind of weird though. When I got the Blue Eyes White Dragon box, the colors look just so off, and then I don't know if it's always been like that. The wrapper is like loose as well too. I don't know, but I doubt like anyone actually makes like fake versions of this. Like since it's a fucking reprint anyways, you'd have to be like a pretty big loser to do that. But yeah, being the Yugi boomer that I am, like how could I really not open the set? So for this, of course you want perfect fits, which are the Yu-Gi-Oh size ones, which are a lot smaller. And then I also use the side-in perfect fits. So if I want to put anything in like a case or something like that. The main thing I really had a question about also was that how do you tell the difference between, I guess, like older Yu-Gi-Oh cards and newer ones? Like, is there any distinction between the reprints? I think probably the Eye of Anubis on the corner, but we'll probably see. I did have like some old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which these were from like the original Metal Raider set. So I'll probably be able to tell. The Eye of Anubis I was talking about, like the thing in the corner probably doesn't pop up in the camera. And you'll probably be able to tell based on, I guess, like supposedly what people say is like the feel of old Yu-Gi-Oh cards are way different from new ones. So I guess we'll use the Petite Moth as an example. I have like a whole box of these commons. But yeah, it's definitely been a while. I'll probably do some sort of like life update video. Like I probably will be doing a little bit more videos again now that I have a little bit of free time. If you've been wondering where I've been, yeah, a lot of stuff been happening. On the plus side, I'm actually starting graduate school soon, hopefully, if everything goes well. So that's a new step in my life. One thing I had to point out though, like it's very nostalgic, but at the same time, I never remembered the booster boxes being so small. I don't know if it's just like as a kid when you're going like to the store, I guess like the booster boxes just seem so big, and I guess like they just look like this, like when you go to the store and you just never, I guess you're just like, oh, picking packs out of a box. You don't really think about how big the box was. From what I remember, I think the Pokemon booster boxes were way bigger. Maybe that's why this feels so small to me. But yeah, aside from that, what have I been doing? I still been doing the guitar thing. I'll probably do an update on that at some point. Still definitely keeping an eye on like a lot of the card game market stuff, which is pretty interesting to talk about. I'll probably get to that. But yeah, so I got the Blue Eyes White Dragon box. I think I have a box of Pharaoh Servants, and I had the box of the Metal Raiders. I think I have like 2 or 3 more Blue Eyes White Dragon boxes that I had. And then this was all out of nostalgia, which does bring back a lot of memories, right? Because like what? Blue Eyes White Dragon's probably the first set anyone really opened. So I guess you could kind of tell, right? There's, I guess like it doesn't really come up in the camera. But no, there are Eye of Anubises on the cards. Can I really tell the difference between old ones and new ones? I mean, I guess like newer Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they have this like very, very, very like sharp corner type of feel to it. I will never forget opening so many of these as a kid and just buying like random packs. And you just have so much fucking garbage. I remember I had a lot of like the regular rares too. It's kind of a shame I lost a lot of my old cards. But if anyone's looking to buy these, I guess for value-wise, I would definitely not do it. Like if you're just opening just outside of nostalgia, or you want like value, like from like selling standpoint, there's so many of these out there. I would not even invest in sealed, to be honest. Final Flame. See, I remember like a lot of these cards were just like absolute garbage. I really can't tell the difference between old cards and new ones. Like, yeah, it still has the Eye of Anubis on them, so I don't really. I guess the only difference is, oh, if I actually look at the bottom of this, it actually it probably doesn't pop up on the camera clearly, but they actually say 2020 instead. So I guess you could kind of tell like if these were the reprints, because if you look at like the original, it probably doesn't pop on. It does actually. The original Petite Muff actually says 1996, whereas the newer ones, they actually say like the TV Tokyo thing on the bottom here, like it says TV Tokyo. I think that's also how you tell a difference too, because I remember the Legendary Connection, the Legendary Collection Yugi boxes. Those also had the thing where like you could tell between the first print and the second print, where it says like TV Tokyo. I remember these cards were so garbage. Like, isn't this is like simpler times when when there wasn't like boosted stats on everything? When I guess like the first set had very, very specific type of equip cards. Yeah, I guess you can kind of tell, like even like the coloring on the cards, they look a lot different. Like the coloring on new cards look a lot they look a lot darker. For some reason, like the colors are they look darker and deeper, and I guess like not really as let me try to, yeah, like, or in some of them they look kind of washed out. Let me try to find an example. Yeah, so I guess I could kind of tell them these all say 2020, and if I look at my older cards, like all these SDY cards, like Star Deck Yugi 1996, Metal Raiders 1996. Yeah, all these, like I don't have any like LOB. My SDK was like 1996 as well too. So I guess you could tell these were like the older ones. But as for color, I guess like with Magic cards you could kind of tell, right? If you see it here on a old Magic card, the new Magic card will say spell, but if you look at the older Magic cards, it'll say magic on there, which is kind of interesting. I guess that's one way to tell, right? I didn't get Spell Ruler just because I had no interest in the secret rares of Spell Ruler, since I already have like the Magic Ruler, Blue Eyes Toon Dragon from when I was a kid. I also had the Toon Summon Skull, so there's really nothing I really want. I'm not really that big of a fan of Relinquish. Skull Servant, Flame Ghost. I remember I had Yorubi in my deck. I think this might have been in the SDK as well too, the starter deck Kaiba. Like 1500 attack, like was pretty good, right? Because if you think about it, like Lajin had 1800, but then you probably only had one back then if you're like a Yugi boomer. And then like I don't think you got more 1800 attack monsters until I think the first Harpy Brother came out. Oh, they're our first super. I think is that super rare or ultra rare? That'll be polymerization. I remember I really wanted polymerization as a kid because you had like all these like whatchamacallit, fusion cards, but if you didn't have poly, even if you wanted to play with them, you couldn't. Which is really odd. Like the coloring is just so oh, these are the side ends actually. I can show you guys, I guess, why I took one out anyways, what the purpose of the side end is. So you take the actual one into the actual sleeve itself, right? And then I remember I did a video on how to put it into one-touch cases, where because Yu-Gi-Oh cards are so small, they're easy to ding and they'll fall out if they jiggle around, right? But if you have like the side-in cases, you have it protected on literally all sides. That's pretty cool to get polymerization. I remember I wanted this real bad as a kid. There's something about the coloring, even the back of the cards. The back of the new cards are a lot lighter colored than the old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which is a lot darker colored. I guess that's also one way to tell the difference as well too. But yeah, I remember like as a kid, you don't think about buying like a whole booster box. You would just pick up like random packs from a box. I think they're like $5 a pack, or $3 or $5 a pack back then. But you remember like, oh, a lot of these cards were junk, right? Yami, you've probably gotten the starter deck. Yugi, a lot of the monsters only have like 1300 attacks, so what are you gonna do with it? I remember like the some of the big monsters you would get would be like the Spirit of the Harp, where it's 2000 defense. So like having 2000 defense monsters, you could stall for pretty long, right? Because there's not really that many monsters that you have that could climb over a 2000 defense monster, unless it was like something like a Lajin that you pumped, or you had like a 5-star card, like a Summon Skull or something like that. Yep, you get a lot of these fusion monsters that you can't do anything with. So far, I don't even know what the ratios are on these boxes. Again, is this purely just like out of nostalgia? I am keeping one box sealed, not for like investing reason, but just to keep as like a display in my display case. Well, a lot of these cards are useless, right? So laser cannon armor, I think it's like only to like an insect monster for 300 attack. So giant soldier of stone. There you go. And then you actually played like things like field spells, especially if you had like dragons, probably. But again, right, like the ideal thing, I think back then, like if you didn't have money to spend on booster packs, which most people didn't, most kids probably didn't, unless like I guess like I don't know, like if your parents like bought them for you, but like I didn't clearly. And like the only way I could really play and like kind of not suck were like, oh okay, I'm gonna get like probably like just 3 starter deck Kaiba, I would say trial decks, just the starter decks, and then that will be kind of like be enough for you to just play. Oh, my second one is Dark Hole. Just box that real quick. Dark Hole. It actually makes me feel really nostalgic on playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I think so. I'm probably gonna look up like the order of the booster boxes when they came out. I think probably after Blue Eyes White Dragon was probably Metal Raiders. Was it Magic Ruler or was it Metal Raiders? It might have been Magic Ruler first. Because then Pharaoh's Servant's the set with Jinzo. I'll probably look it up and then I'll probably open them in order. I already have the Metal Raider box, but I'll probably make a video on that. And then I think I have Pharaoh's Servant coming in soon. Magic Ruler, Spell Ruler, I'm completely skipping since I don't need it at all. Reaper of Cards. So it's like a 1 sacrifice summon and then 1930 defense. So they had, I remember back then there's like all these like really weird defense monsters. I remember someone using this against me. I think this might be like an uncommon rare as well too, because I remember even if I had it as a kid, I probably would have played it. Wait, flip it, select 1 trap card and field, destroy it. If it's set, pick up, see a card. I don't think it was Reaper of the Cards if someone played against me. But yeah, I just remember like I didn't really have any cards outside of like the starter deck cards. And then even if I were able to pull some cards that I had, they weren't very playable. I think like at some point I pulled a Black Skull Dragon, which I lost when I moved. I think it got lost in the move somewhere, or it might have been tossed out. You couldn't play Black Skull Dragon unless you had polymerization, right? So at that point, I think I had like the starter deck Joey, and then that came with the polymerization, and I was able to play with that afterwards. But then by then, like I think I was quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! I know I definitely quit before Invasion of Chaos. Because then by the time Invasion of Chaos came out, I didn't quit, right? But the only thing I played by that point was just the games. Was Invasion of Chaos, I think, like when GX came out? Probably. Maybe when GX came out. And I was purely just playing the PSP games. Oh, the Piece of Exodia. Beaver Warrior, staple. Skull Red Bird, that was my jam right there too. That 1550 attack, and then you ended up needing like a calculator for like your life points and shit. I don't know about you guys, like I think like to keep track of life points, every time I played I had like a notepad. Right leg of the forbidden. Still, I don't know if like the ratios of cards change or just like, or maybe as a kid, all I ever did was just prime boxes for other people, because I do not recall ever pulling like these many hollow cards. Ever. I don't think I ever pulled this many hollow cards. So I don't know if like they up the amount of holographic cards. Aquamador, that was definitely in my deck. I had a lot of 2000 defense monsters to just use as walls in my deck. So we already pulled 3 howls already. So does that mean are you guaranteed 1 secret rare per box? I don't even know. Like, is Blue Eyes White Dragon a secret rare? I don't even know about that. Like, is another Spirit of the Harp, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then oh, Petite Moth. Wasn't this in like some shitty kid's deck in the anime? I don't remember. Or was it in Yugi's deck? I don't think so. I think it was like in one of those like it was like one of those episodes, like the side episodes where I think Yugi plays with Heart of the Underdog, and then the kid only had like a bunch of normal monsters in his deck and no spells, and then like that's somehow how he won. I don't remember how. Dragoness the Wicked Knight, I remember having that. And I think you need Flame Manipulator to summon Flame Swordsman, I think. I'm pretty sure you need Flame Manipulators to summon Flame Swordsman. Yeah, like the coloring on these cards, I guess you could really tell. Outside of, okay, the backs of these cards are a lot darker. They're a lot darker than the original prints. The coloring is just a little bit weird. Everything just kind of like, the quality seems to have went down over time. Dragon Capture Jar. I don't think anyone really ran Dragon Capture Jar unless you had the starter deck Yugi and then you were still being an asshole. I guess like, yeah, if you knew your friends were playing Blue Eyes White Dragon, you might play Dragon Capture Jar. Alright, so we're getting to the bottom of the box. So far, I would be fucking so excited to have like multiple pieces of Exodia. But I already have I think like the full Exodia set just from the legendary Yugi decks. Fissure. Ooh, Celtic Guardian. So that's pretty interesting actually. So I actually have multiple Celtic Guardians that are faded. And I guess it would be pretty cool to do like a comparison between the old Celtic Guardians and the newer ones actually. I mean, of course, like you could still tell the difference, but it'll be pretty cool to do it just like a comparison side by side. Still very like a Celtic Guardian's like a really iconic monster, right? All right, so we're down to, so we have 4 hollows already. So does that mean I'm not guaranteed a secret rare per box then? Huh. There we go. Gaia the Dragon Champion. I remember having this as a kid, actually. Gaia the Dragon Champion, which also got lost. So that was my gripe, right? Where you could have so it requires Curse of Dragon and Gaia the Fierce Knight for you to fuse them, right? The color is just so ugly. Like if you look at it, it looks like such like a plain card. I mean, like the colors itself looks like really washed out. I mean, it's very nostalgic, but if you look at it, like Gaia the Dragon Champion is like a very, very like generic looking card. So this is a kind of a dud box. Just sorta. But then, I mean, I have other boxes coming in, so it's not really that big of a deal. Metal Dragon. Oh, another arm of the Forgotten One. So now we have 2 arms. Does that mean I'm very tempted in order to just get a full set of reprint Exodia then? Oh, it's actually really interesting. Hang on. After I put this into the sleeve. The text on this is actually really, really off-center. Actually, I guess both of them are kind of like really off-center, except like the one on the left, the right arm. Like again, like is like actually really, really, really on the bottom. But from what I've heard, like off-center misprints are actually very, very, very common. So we have 2 of the right sides. What are the chances that you can have both the right arm and the right leg? Skull Servant. I think Skull Servant you could kind of do something with nowadays. Was there like a Skull Servant deck or something like that? I remember seeing on TCG Player when I was selling like some of my old vintage cards I didn't care about. Like people were buying like random shit like first edition like Judge Man from the Star Deck Kaiba. People were paying like, I don't know, $30, $40. I remember selling one. I remember like first edition Skull Servants were selling for a lot. I don't remember why. Pot of Greed. I remember I really wanted Pot of Greed as a kid, but I don't think I ever pulled Pot of Greed. I might have only gotten Pot of Greed out of maybe it might have been out of a starter deck. Might have been starter deck Joey. I think that's how I got Pot of Greed. I can't confirm or deny, but I think that's where I actually finally got Pot of Greed. This might be like one of those like more rare cards, like the Pot of Greed. Like what? At least that's what I felt like when I was a kid when I was opening them. Hane. I remember running that a lot. Flame Swordsman. I remember having that as a kid as well too. Hane was like also one of those like really annoying cards you could bully people with. That like someone could like shove their high level monsters into it, and you'll be like, oh well, get fucked. It goes right back to your hand. Flame Sword. So I guess you get quite a bit of hollows. I must have been just really fucking unlucky as a kid, or they've upped the ratio on these boxes, because I swear to God, I don't remember there being these many hollows inside booster boxes or inside the sets at all. Teen Angel, Fusionist, Beaver Warrior. That was a boy as well too. So that's it. Yeah. So what do we get out of this? Like, I mean, I guess like the rares, like no one really cares about, right? I don't really care much about them. So we got Flame Swordsman, Pot of Greed. We got the right side of Exodia. Now I feel like I need to get the left side. I just need the left side in the head, right? Celtic Guardian, which I'll eventually do like a comparison between the old one, as well as two. I guess I can totally got what? If we just look at hollows alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hollows out of 24 packs. So it was like, you have like a 1 in 3 chance of getting hollows pretty much. I must have been really fucking unlucky as a kid. So hang on, let me just cut the video here, and then let me just look at the Celtic Guardians I have in my collection. All right, so I'm back. Just to go over, so these were the original Celtic Guardians that I have, and this is the reprint Celtic Guardian. So again, yeah, so the older ones showed 1996, and then you could kind of really see the, I mean, the art itself looks pretty much the same, but I guess like if you look at the font kind of looks slightly different, I guess. The style of cards, I guess. I don't know, they say the style of cards is different, but for me, I feel like it's very similar, if not the same. I guess the only really way I would say you'll be able to tell a difference is if you just look at the copyright mark on the bottom. The old cards will all show 1996, where the new ones all say 2020. I guess that's how you could tell a difference. And then if you look at the back again for the older cards are a lot darker, and this is actually a lot lighter. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the video for now. I'll probably try to catch up to you guys as I open the next boxes. And again, there will probably be more stuff coming back out again. I should have a little bit more free time, and I'm feeling like I'm in a better place. So yeah, look forward to the videos coming up. I'll see you next time.